hop on over to Astrea taking on TLO, and the first player representing Team Alpha X. Probably their best pickup, I would go as far as to say. He is the red Protoss player. It's Astrea.
And he's facing off against the other Canadian invader. It's going to be Mr. Germany, Dr. Dario. Liquid's TLO, Blues Red player.
Dario, one of my favorite humans on the planet.
He's one of my favorite humans as well, man. Dario's always just been the nicest human beings. I feel like the great thing about SC2, right, is that, like, I find myself saying the phrase, they're one of the nicest human beings.
There's
about, like, everyone.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's a lot better these days. Back in the day, there was a few bad apples, but they seem to have been filtered out over time. And we have very few now. Which is lovely, yeah. We have so many great players. Astrea as well.
Brand.
Oh, Jesus. What a dick.
All right, so Astrea, let's see. Actually, I need to double check what the scores were. They played yet? No, they have not. All right, so this is the first match from Group B. And this is an interesting match. I mean, TLO, he's gotta be practicing a lot of ZVP lately.
Yeah.
Because there's 5 Protosses in this group.
Yeah.
Dario, the lone man flying the flag for Zerg in this group.
But if there's any player I would trust to have very efficient, very organized practice, it is Dario. He's a big,
for sure.
He's a big, fan of keeping things organized and sorted out, and also Team Liquid's manager, or Team Liquid's sort of team leader, I think is a more accurate term. And one of the most creative players we've ever seen in the game. So there's always a chance with TLO that we're going to see some shenanigans.
I mean, if there's one person who can come up with 5 different ZVP series worth of different shenanigans, it's probably Dario.
Yeah.
So we'll see if he opts for anything a little bit wild. And Astrea, of course, I mean, we've been talking about how Dario is a Mr. Creative, but Astrea, I mean, he's very, very good, but he's also plays his own brand of StarCraft. Like, he does some very weird things sometimes. And a lot of the time they work, especially nowadays that he's gotten a lot better since his Korea visit. He used to be good. Now he's very, very, very good.
Yeah.
But I always think about, like, he is the guy who, at some point in 2019, I don't remember which season, just, like, walked 8 sentries across the map against Scarlet and killed a 3rd. Like, he just does stuff like that. He just does random stuff. And I'm sure we'll see a couple of things out of him. And it's not that he does, like, super weird all-ins or anything. It's just, for Astrea, a lot of it is tactics, right? And to an extent, the same thing can be said for Dario. They do very weird tactical decisions that are very out of the norm and can really catch the opponents off guard. So when you see these kinds of guys matching up against each other, it creates for not just a battle of mechanics, but also a battle of wits in many ways.
Yeah, I imagine this will be a very interesting series, and we'll see some things that will make us go, what, along the way, but there'll be a lot of reasoning behind it from these two. Astrea, I'm not sure where in the world he is playing from.
I believe he's back in the US.
Okay.
So he lives in California usually, so
What a beast.
presumably he's in California, I would guess.
We do
Max Angel is a very California name, isn't it?
I mean, yeah, if he does porn.
I always say it sounds like he's a detective.
Yeah, a detective and a porno.
Jesus Christ.
We do have a very quick fast third here from... Very quick fast third. Yeah, why not? A very quick third here from Astrea, dropping that at exactly the 4-minute mark. About 20-30 seconds faster than the average. Oh my god, Oracle is so low. It does manage to survive. There is a spore. It does look like it will just fall. Oh my god, it has 13 hit points and will survive. Very, very nice micro there from Astrea. TLO is supply blocked thanks to the Alpha Ray that is now moving across the map to go hunting.
Kind of cool to see Astrea going into a secondary Oracle behind this. Neeb obviously just went for the single Oracle and then went into the Void Ray and then there until he made carriers. But the secondary Oracle is really, really nice, especially because this first one is kind of trapped. And just having 2 Oracles out, 2 is kind of a bit of a magic number, right?
Yeah.
You have a little bit of safety, you one-shot drones, lots of cool stuff that can happen to that. 4 Adepts coming in as well. Same is true for them. 2 is the magic number to one-shot drones. So he splits them into a couple of different groups here. going after the drones in the natural, as well as canceling the ones going in towards the third. I actually really like what he did there.
Yeah,
very cute.
Drones.
So he sent 2 towards the natural, 2 towards the third, and then when TLO had units in the third, he canceled the shades going over towards the third, which is kind of cute. Unfortunately, the rescue on those adepts doesn't really amount to too much. Gets 1 more kill there, but 4 drones for 4 adepts isn't the worst trade in the universe.
Yeah, 8 drones in total have gone down. TLO is still up in workers and continue to drone up. He's still making
look at the
lot
main.
of lings.
He caught a ton of drones with a stasis trap in the main. The majority of the mineral line there. Really nicely done there by Astrea.
Okay, yeah, that's huge. You've got all these drones. That's hundreds upon hundreds of minerals, but we do have TLO. He made a huge amount of lings. Like, he currently has 30 on the field, and he's got them all at the other side of the map, trying to see if he can find any damage. There's a good amount of sentries here, but of course there's no zealot charge or anything, and actually this could end up being quite vulnerable. The third has, okay, this is cool.
Oh, that's a lot of sentries. Keeping them in range of the shield battery. TLO's not going to commit. TLO double Hydra Den behind this. They're right next to each other, so this is not a mistake. This is him looking to hit a timing with both of those upgrades, which is very, very cool. And in the meantime, he's just going to continue poking away at these walls with the links. He wants to try to keep that as open. Forcing out energy is great as well. So the 4th base comes on down. This looks to me to be more for Larva than anything else. Because TLO definitely wants to be hitting a timing with both of these both of these upgrades finishing up in the next minute or so.
Baneling that's coming down as well, just to add to the pressure, add to the AoE damage here of this push. And I completely agree with you here that Astrea is really trying to force that energy, and he's trying to take down this wall so he can get better surface area with his Hydralisks later on. He's still making drones, which is very odd to me.
Well, I don't think it's necessarily meant to be an all-in. He just wants to apply quite a lot of pressure behind this. A couple more drones isn't really bad either. It especially puts him into a nice advantage income-wise if he can at least keep Astrea down on 3 bases. He is going to spot this 4th coming out, probably able to get it if he commits to it. And I think he'll probably be able to keep most of his lings alive as well. No cancel. Oh, he does cancel just at the very, very, very end there. And the Hydras now are well and truly on the map. We have 12 of them moving across the map, 5 more coming on out. Baneling speed nearing, or is at least on the way now, not quite nearing completion, but he doesn't necessarily need them in the first wave. They're going to be equally effective at zoning units, even if they're not quite as good at closing the distance. And the Hydras are the real damage dealers here. Storm is on the way.
No
might actually be able
for
to finish
TLO.
it.
Absolutely no upgrades for TLO. Is it even Evo Chambers? No. So this is getting to the point in the game where things get a little scary because Astrea's already started +2. He has High Templars, but of course no Storm yet. Taking down quite a lot of gateways is nice. I mean, High Templars literally tickling this Hydralisk. He will end up going down.
They're doing quite a bit of work here. Just catching. Oh my god, they actually catch about 10 Banelings there right as they're finishing morphing. That's really unfortunate for TLO, as he doesn't really have that many Banelings. He still has about 12, though. He's going to be able to get the 4th pretty easily. A decent status ward goes down. Baneling's trying to connect. Still not quite done there with the Baneling speed, though. And he's trying to get as many Zealots as possible. But so far, the force fields from Max are great. And there's not that many Banelings left. Storm is done. 4 Templar coming on in with energy. Good pre-splits, though, by TLO.
Base needs to be cancelled. Why doesn't he let it finish? I can't believe he let the base finish. It was almost certainly going down from the beginning there. But TLO doesn't have that much, and Storm is done. There's still a lot of High Templar energy. I see at least 2 Storms remaining, maybe even 3. But TLO does have a lot right now. His army supply is still 20 ahead of his opponent, although a big warping round of High Templars changes that. He's getting his Lurker Den and his Hive as well. So
double Hydra Den into double Lurker Den build.
Oh my god.
Alright, well, I mean, this is very all-in. Like, we talked about it before, the upgrades not really being a thing. He's got double Evos. It's like, I mean, maybe not very all-in. It's a little all-in, though. He denies 4th, which is good. It keeps him in the game. But again, though, he's going to be in a position upgrade-wise where when the Lurker Den finishes, when the Lurker upgrades finish, he's going to, again, be in a position where he must do damage. Otherwise, he's not going to be able to continue in this game. So it's kind of a semi-all-in into a semi-all-in, if you will. But yeah, I mean, this is going to allow him to hit a very, very quick Lurker follow-up here. Does he actually see both Lurker Dens? No, he only sees one. But he does, in fact, confirm that there is at least one Lurker Den.
Yeah, Pneumatized Carapace finishing up now as well for our Zerg player. He's making a lot of Banelings. He's making a lot of units right now. He's sitting at the magic number of drones, and right now it seems to be 7 lurkers on the way. No lurker upgrades on the way yet. There we go. There is one.
This army has so many storms, but there's already so many speed banes. I don't actually like this push out from Astrea too much. I don't mind the posturing, but he's got to stay off creep, and he does. For now, anyway. Maybe with a couple more, maybe with Warpins, he'll be fine. Obliterates one lurker, as TLO confirms that he is in fact still posturing on the map. The nice thing about this for Astrea, though, is that it makes it very awkward for TLO to move out. If Astrea's mid-map like this, it doesn't allow TLO to siege up with his lurkers and get them into a nice position, right? He's going to be forced to burrow them, unburrow them repeatedly, forcing TLO back if TLO finds a good position. And Astrea, in the meantime, does have a War Prism here with 4 Zealots. He's going to be able to warp in quite a lot of these lads and apply even more annoying pressure. But TLO needs to try to make something happen. He's about to finish that upgrade, the range upgrade. Oh no! He queued them on the same lurker den! Oh, that's a huge mistake. He's not going to be able to hit the timing he wants to now.
Yeah, really big mistake here. You sometimes see it with eBays and upgrades and things like that. But when you're going for a big timing like this...
he made a second lurker den just to get them out at the same time. And he's now not able to do so. That's so unfortunate.
Let's go for a base trade.
I think this is actually not the wrong idea at all. You got a ton. First of all, lurkers are great defensively when you're dealing with a base trade scenario. And offensively, I mean, really, if he picks off the detection, he just wins the game. And there's really not that much of it. There's a single observer, and it's on the offense. So, thus far, oh god, he's pulled drones against Arc. The Storm's just continuing to do quite a lot of damage. He is picking off a fair number of these units, though. The recall comes down. Where is that observer? It's not a recall. And, yeah, I mean, he hasn't recalled the observer either. He does have... Astrea has his Oracle with full energy, but he hasn't used it yet, and there's a great spread on these lurkers. TLO, so far, he's down in supply, but he's executing this base trade very well.
Yeah.
Where's the high ground lurkers, man? He's got to make some lurkers and put them on the high ground, I feel. Actually, maybe he doesn't. The attacking force is really thinning out now. 3 Archon's gonna fall. The last one does barely survive with the assistance of that Guardian Shield. But, oh my god, Astrea, he still has the army lead at the moment. He's sitting on a single 2 Nexuses, I guess. He's got the 5th up. This is very weird. I feel like Astrea might be doing it.
I think so.
Especially with the Observer still on the attacking side. He's not going to have too much trouble breaking through this one lurker. All right, he's got it. He's got it. Wild game. Appreciate TLO's creativity. But Max Angel is in pole position to take this first map.
Yeah, I mean, the supply style, the whole story. TLO has no workers. His buildings, of course, falling down. He has next to no army left. And there's still so much army here for Astrea, sitting at 84 army supply. Sure, these Lurkers are doing a good job, and they are taking down buildings slowly. But as soon as the detection comes back, I'm kind of surprised we haven't seen Astrea throw down another robo. He has the money to do it and get out an observer. Just to add to it. It looks like TLO's buildings are falling a little bit quicker here if we do go to that wing con.
This is one of those situations where, like, I do think it's fair for TLO to stay in. There is a non-0% chance he wins this game. It's about 0.01 at this point, but there is a chance that Astrea messes up and, like, F2s his observer into these 2 spores that are sitting at the front, and then all of a sudden can't break him. You know, like, there is a non-zero chance that TLO wins this game. It would be absolutely wild and probably the comeback of the entire tournament. Yeah. But, well, there's no energy on this. There was just enough energy on that Oracle. All right, so he's not going to be able to keep this lurker alive, unfortunately. There's another one over on the right-hand side. Where are the rest of these? There's still one of them's going to go down to these zealots over to the left. Okay, there's one in the main, and there's one by Astrea's old third. At this point, I think that Astrea's fine.
Yeah, I mean, look at the army.
Grant, he F2'd the observer into the spores. There is no observer on the map.
Oh my god. There is an oracle, though, and as long as that oracle lives, there is, of course.
Eventually have enough energy to push, and that's going to be a GG, but... I appreciate the tenacity of TLO. I appreciate the fighting spirit. And also, there is that... sometimes, especially in game number 1, if you're not, like, dead, like, sometimes players will stay in the game a little bit longer, just sort of calm down a bit, especially if you lose. Just calm down, sort of collect your thoughts, and just kind of theorize a little bit, like, what am I going to do next game? Was my plan good? Do I need to change up? Like, just generally take a moment and try to go into the second game in as good a mentality as possible. So, solid start by Max Angel. TLO already busting out the creativity that we all know and love. We'll see if he comes up with something else for game number 2.
Yeah, we are just waiting for our invite. Looks like a possibility that the players, of course, like,
Golden
oh my god, Golden Wall.
Of course, this is the series where we get to see Golden Wall.
This is going to be weird.
Players that don't veto it.
This is
TLO has to have something up his sleeve because Sky Toss is pretty good on this map.
Yeah.
You do not want this map going late game as Zerg. I mean, I guess like if you split it with Spores, like there's always a chance to be able to win it, but there's like it's pretty solid for Protoss to try to hit a 3-4 base push before Zerg can get mass Spore, Lurker, Viper, Infestor, Queen, right?
Quick update. M. Canning, my co-caster, my lover, did win his series 2-0 against Vindicta.
Excellent.
Insane.
Do love Michael Canning.
I absolutely love him.
There's going to be an M. Canning viewer in chat who corrects me. His
name's Chris.
I've just called him Michael Canning 6 years as a meme. It's really dumb. It's not even funny, but it's one of those things that I started as a dumb joke, and now it's just so natural to me that I can't call him Chris. His name is Michael. That's final.
Okay, we now move into map 2, Golden Wall. This is going to get weird. For now.
All right. The man in the bottom right, up 1-0. Not needing to do anything too creative as himself, just kind of dealing with the weirdness thrown his way, showing us yet again that he is very capable of playing a solid defensive macro game. It's our red Protoss player for Alpha X. It's Astrea.
His opponent in the bottom left, representing Team Liquid. He is the blue Zerg player from Germany, but living in Canada. It's TLO.
Okay, so Astrea probably just plays pretty defensively here, right? Like, I don't really think he needs to do anything too aggro, because I feel like the onus is really on TLO to try.
Yeah, I would agree.
Relatively early on this map. And, of course, the gold base does allow for a really quick power-up, especially for Zerg players. You're able to get that third down a little bit safer, a little bit quicker. You're able to just pump out drones to saturate it right quick. And maybe he does go for something like a fast, like a 3-base push off of a fast gold base, something to try to just overwhelm Astrea. The downside about that is that this is another map similar to Pillars of Gold, which we saw in the last series, where you're attacking up a ramp, which is not really a great situation to be in. So we'll have to see what Dario has up his sleeve here. Astrea, in the meantime, opening with a pretty cookie-cutter gate into Nexus. And yeah. What do you want to see from TLO? Like, what's your dream build from Dario?
Dream build? I don't know. Proxy Swarmhost. I do like the idea of Pillars on Golden Wall. Sorry, I'm really not with it. Of taking this gold base and then go for a very quick Stefano-esque Roach Ravager push, where you can just power out so many Roaches off of like 4 gas and that gold base income, make 100 Overlords and just max out real fast. I think that would have a lot of potential here. But of course that gold base is always very, very vulnerable. It's very open from multiple angles. You can harass it from the back if you have any air units and Oracle. This is such a great map for Stargate, and that is what we see. TLO scouting it immediately is fantastic. It's a great start here for TLO. But this is such a great map. There's so much space because of the south side being completely blocked off by these mineral walls. There's just no way to chase down Oracles with Void Rays, or if Astrea was to go to base carrier, this would be the map I'd like to see it on. I didn't expect it. I think that might be a Neeb special, but you never know.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about this map as well is that even the choke on the south side into the sort of,
Oh, he's doing
I guess, 5 o'clock expansion for Astrea, the one that he's currently mining the minerals to be able to take. That's not the easiest thing to attack into either. Like it's not high ground and it's a relatively wide choke, but it's still just attacking into a third base from one angle, which is not really what Zerg wants to do. So taking that third pretty quickly is not the hardest thing at all, and that allows him to power up if he wants to go Sky Toss. 3-base carrier, pretty quickly, he could do that. And we've seen him do wonky Sky Tossy builds on this map before, even in PBT. So Astrea, eyes on what he's going to be doing. But in the meantime, TLO opts for the blue mineral base, not opting for gold. And Void Ray production. First Void Ray coming on in for Astrea. Not really much in the way of Overlords here. There's just the original one that came on over. And I think nowadays, especially with the Void Rays the way they are now, is a little bit more cautious with the positioning of their Overlords in this matchup.
Yeah, I think you kind of expect to lose your scouting Overlord and a lot of ZVPs anyway, because even before Void Rays, Phoenixes were so common here, and now it does look like Astrea has cleaned up and will be looking to take his third down on the south side, and now the game gets a little wonky.
Alrighty. A second Void Ray in production as well, which does to me... I mean, we did see Neeb do that weird thing against Namjar where he just made 5 Void Rays, but this does signal to me that it's pretty likely that Astrea is going to want to go into Sky Toss at some point down the line at the very least. 2 Void Rays. Like, 1 is nice because it gives you a really nice way to sort of defend against sort of roach-centric pushes. You can hunt down Overlords. 2 doesn't really get you that much more, right? Like, 2 doesn't help you against anti-air units. It's still not enough damage to do much against anti-air units. So the second Void Ray really kind of signals that he wants to make more than just 2, and there's the third one in production. Forge on the way as well. And in the meantime, TLO is opting for that gold base now. He did go for a sort of 4 hatchery, sort of 3.5 base economy push in the last game. We'll see if he opts to do something similar this time around, but Astrea already setting himself up so perfectly with this double gateway wall at that third. It's going to be very hard to break that, especially with Void Ray sitting behind it. 3 of them out on the map now, with a 4th one in production. Actually, no, never mind. He canceled the 3rd one and restarted it, so a little bit of a correction. I think he just wanted to make sure that he had enough units for that link push in case that was a little bit more than he thought. Why are there 2 Hydra Dens in production again, Grant?
There seems to be TLO's answer here to Void Rays.
I mean, I don't hate it. I really don't hate it. The double Hydra Den really wasn't bad in the last map. The only thing that was really kind of yikes was the double Lurker Den, and that was only mainly because he misclicked the second upgrade. So, I mean, why not try it again? The second, like, the last game was weird. It didn't seem like it was particularly close, but, like, it felt to me like it was close to being close, if that makes any sense. So, like, maybe he feels comfortable that if he just executes it a little bit more cleanly, he's got gold minerals on that 4th base instead of just a 4th with blue this time. Maybe he can make it work. But these 6 Adepts are going to be an annoying thing to deal with, as well as he's going to be able to shade right on into that main. And this is kind of the problem with mining out these minerals, right? You open yourself up to kinds of attacks. And the Lings over at the Natural are going to be easily warded away, while the Hydras are spawning just in time to kind of deal a little bit of damage to these Adepts. 1 Void Ray actually goes down to the Spore, which kind of sucks, but this is so far a pretty solid hold by TLO. I don't really think this is a great trade for Astrea.
A little lost time.
He still has enough time to maybe pick up a few drones. Nah, he's not going to be able to. Good hold there by TLO. Nicely done.
Yeah, a little lost mining time, but TLO fixes that pretty quickly. Gets back into gas relatively.
Oh no, Astrea! Oh, he's getting baited! Oh, the Queen's got another Void Ray, and that takes him 2. But the carrier production has begun. This, though, is a little bit awkward because Astrea just lost quite a lot of units. And TLO kind of didn't. So TLO's army might be able to find a bit of a hole here. 18 army supply of this 43 is in newly started carriers. That's not going to hit the map for a long time. There's really not that much here to deal with this Hydra push. It's not that many Hydras either, but the Hydras should be able to at least pick off the sentry quite quickly. The Void Rays come on in to try to deal with this, but more and more units are streaming across the map from TLO. The constant Chrono Boost on some of these carriers does mean that they're going to be joining the fray pretty soon. TLO might be missing his window here a little bit.
It's going to be very, very close. Carriers are just about to pop. Stalker's trying to do what they can to defend. There is no battery here anymore. +1 air weapons. If that gets targeted down, that's a pretty big upgrade. It gets unpowered for 6 seconds. Void Rays coming in, they're going to be able to buy a little bit of
Astrea
time.
feels comfortable enough to make a mothership right now?
That's
really?
wild.
That is wild. Now, what he is doing, I like that he's not... Carriers rallying into just 4 interceptors.
The carriers are in the
might not
natural.
be able to deal with this. But I think it's smart for him to wait for them to build up a couple more interceptors. The problem is that he is going to be losing the low ground here. He doesn't lose too much in the way of actual workers, but TLO needs to not attack into this. This is a little bit much for him to deal with right now. Still, though, picks up a couple of those interceptors, and the carrier count isn't crazy just yet.
It's going to be enough to push this back, though. The Hydralisks are starting to all fall down. There are still probably enough interceptors here. It does look like Astrea will hold, and behind this, the mothership is getting closer and closer. And 2 more carriers also on the way. Guys, I also understand that some frames are dropping right now. I'm watching it lag, but it's not on my end, so I think Twitch is having more issues.
The natural base goes down here. Now, keep in mind, behind this, Astrea has established a 4th base, so he's still on 3 bases. Still, though, TLO does a great job there to actually catch that base. He's probably going to be able to cancel it again, but please don't push into the main Dario. That would be ill-advised, I would say. This time, though, instead of opting for a double Lurker Den kind of play, which obviously would not work very well against carriers, we have Dario going into a Spire. And overall, he's done a pretty good job of stymieing Astrea's income. The main issue is that, like, picking off the 3rd base, killing off a base, that's a great way to slow down the opponent from getting to carriers. But if your opponent's already at carriers, you then run into a bit of an issue where you're not really slowing him down. Yeah, I mean, he's already at... Like, he's going to struggle.
He's at critical mass.
He doesn't really have much in the way of a bank at the minute. He's got just enough to continue cranking out more carriers 3 at a time, though. And Dario definitely can't be pushing into this. He's got 0-0 on these Hydras. This is going to be very, very brutal.
Fight coming in right now, guys. I'm having some real bad internet issues right now. That's not me. I'm not dropping any frames. That's fire.
Yeah, it might be one of the other casts. We have I think we have some other language casters in.
Game paused.
Shouldn't be me.
I'm not dropping frames, but I'm feeling it pretty bad. It might be me. I'm gonna close all this stuff. I have nothing open. Sure. Just close Chrome entirely.
They're testing the ping. Ping seems good. And it looks like we're about to get back into it.
Game resumed.
Astrea looking fantastic, gotta be said. TLO, I like this build a lot. I like the double Hydra Den build. I just don't know how much I like it on this map, because it's just so hard to push in, and it's surprising to me that he managed to actually take out Neutral, because that's a hard base to push into. But even then, Astrea was so greedy behind it. I feel like the only reason why Dario was able to actually break it was because he had gone into 4 bases, 80 workers, and a mothership. So there wasn't really much in the way of actual units. And the Lings continuing to shark around, looking for what they can. 11 Corruptors on the way. I mean,
I think
there's as many carriers. There's as many carriers as there are. There's no lag on my end right now. It's not causing the game to lag.
Really bad on me.
But it's not causing the players any
slideshow.
issues at this point in time. So that's at least very good. But the Lings continuing to shark around. Dario, it's tough, man. This kind of a situation is tough. I don't really know what Dario's reaction is, what he can do to sort of put himself into a better position right now. He's got to try to... The only way I think he wins is if he goes hyper late game. The problem is I don't know how he survives to get there. The motherships, the carriers, they're pushing across the map here. Main base is looking like it's going to fall. Luckily for TLO, his tech is not in the main. But regardless, the natural, where all the tech is, that's got to be the next target.
I might drop soon. I'm kind of worried. I'm trying to stay in the game, guys. I know it's a slideshow right now. I'm not dropping any frames at all. I haven't got any frames in hours upon hours, so I'm really confused as to why this is doing this. It seems to just be StarCraft. Everything else is working. So I will restart the game after this. It might be evening out. Right. Astrea recalls.
In the meantime, triple Void Ray production on the way. I do like this. The Void Rays, of course, covering for the Corruptor army a little bit better than carriers do. But yeah, this looks like it might be the final death throes of TLO's hopes and dreams in this series. He's trying to go for a push. He's got 169 supply. It's a bit of a supply block here as well. going up against a +1 air army that is a lot of carriers. It is currently 12 carriers. I have an idea, Grant.
Game paused.